good evening. Keeps up the cash. Gary B, the casual comic guy here, and I have one of my favorite co-hosts in the world. We have Marcus here from Surcam Stances YouTube channel. Marcus, how are you doing this evening, sir?
I'm doing well, man. I love that intro, and I'm excited to see what Nat's got in store for us. What's up? Let's
Oh,
go.
thank you. Oh, me too. Yeah, I'm looking to get a few more intros made. But guys, without further ado, the guest of the hour and our honor to host her on the show tonight, we have Nathalie at the Comics Queen on Instagram. And Nathalie, as I like to do, there's going to be people who catch this on the rewind and give a short synopsis of who you are, what you do, and then we'll get into the books. That way, people are familiar with you, and we can send people to Instagram to follow you.
All right. I'm Nathalie. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I'm a comic collector. I don't know.
That's okay, but you do work for Shortbox, right?
Yeah, I do. I do. I'm in charge of like their social media and stuff.
Yes, it is, Marcus. Nice. So it's a fun little job. And it looks like you get to do a lot of stuff at the cons and meet a lot of people and have a lot of fun, which is really cool.
Yes. I just came back from San Diego Comic-Con and it was amazing. Like it was so much fun. I met so many people. It was crazy. I loved it.
Nice.
I'm
Well,
jealous.
let's start getting into your books, and you'll get a few more people following you tonight on your IG, so your stuff will get out there. And you did recently change your name from DC Comic Queen because people kept getting confused what you were all about to just the Comics Queen, right?
Yeah, well, it wasn't DC. It was like the Comic Queen to begin with, but people
Right.
would always think it was like DC Comic Queen. And at San Diego, like it was just people started calling me D, and that's when I was just like, okay, let's do something about this now.
Right. Yeah, you never want to have your moniker wrong.
Yeah, I
So,
figured just like long term and stuff, just branding wise, it was time for a change for sure.
hey, it doesn't hurt you because I noticed the change. I was like, oh, all right, that's cool. Now, you've been reading comics a long time, probably, and it looks like you're always posting like what's coming out that week. So I'm kind of curious to see what your top 10 are. What's kind of a personal selection for you? So why don't we lead off with your first book? Tell us a little bit about it. Marcus and I may interject here and there and ask you questions, but we're just here for you and your book. So let's see what you got.
Okay. This was like a top 10 in my collection, right? Not like top 10 current titles or
No,
anything.
no, just 10 favorites. It
Okay.
doesn't have to be a top 10. Just 10 that are favorites for you. You could have a
Okay, okay,
million
good.
favorites.
Yeah, because I was just like,
No,
in
top
that
10
case,
are
that's a whole different top 10.
yeah. No, I
Okay.
hate being asked to do a top 10 because top 10s are impossible.
Okay, for my collection, even for my collection, it was a little hard to pick some, because there's like a lot of books that mean a lot to me and that are favorites. But the first one I wanted to talk about was this one, which was Trick or Treat, and this is like the actual comic from the movie. I
Right?
don't know if you guys are familiar with the Trick or Treat movie.
Oh, yeah, I've seen it. I'm a big horror guy.
Okay, good. Yeah, this is one of my favorite like Halloween movies, and I managed to find the comic. And I thought this was really cool. So
I
my
didn't even know
son,
there
he's
was a comic.
yeah. Well, you know how in the movie it's an actual comic. Like the stories are from a comic book, like in the movie.
Right.
Yeah. So
Well, the movies
but
are
yeah,
The
they're
cover's
they're
dope.
they're in here. And it's really neat. My son, he's 4, and it's one of his favorite movies too. Which I mean, he's a little young, but he's in love with Sam. And
He's an arts
I thought
fan.
this was really cool to have, and I showed it to him, and he was just like,
He's
he
brave.
really, yeah.
My 5-year-old would be scared. He's brave.
No, he's something else. He's a he's a whole different one.
Well, it's funny
Very
because
cool.
my kid takes after me. He likes horror too, and one of my favorite horror movie is John Carpenter's The Thing. And so my son's just like completely impervious to all that stuff because he's grown up around me with horror. He's only
Yeah.
12 now, but it's never really bothered him.
Yeah, same with us. I mean, we have like my husband's big on Chucky, so we have like Chucky posters and Nightmare on Elm Street posters like around the house. And he loves like Halloween and trick or treat, but it's really funny because what actually scares him is Buzz Lightyear
Really?
from Toy Story. Yes, like Woody
Is there
and
a
Buzz
reason?
terrify him.
Because
He
they're
is
like
so
dolls?
scared of Buzz. I don't know if it's like the toys coming to life thing. I don't know, but he hates Buzz Lightyear.
I mean, if you think about it, it is pretty creepy. If you really think about it, it's like puppets coming to life.
Yeah, I thought about it. I was like, I wonder like what he thought, like the first time we watched it, like I was like, what was going through his head? Like, like he was probably scared his toys were gonna come to life or something.
Mhm.
So
You gotta show him our Puppet Master now.
he would probably like that. He likes scary movies.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
a
so
different and one that hasn't been on the show before. And that was a great cover.
Yeah, just because of that, like it was really cool. I didn't know like the comic existed either until I saw someone post it for sale, and I was like, okay, I need to have that. And that's probably one of my favorites. I love it.
I'm probably gonna have to hunt that down. All right, number 2, Nat.
Okay, it would probably be my Werewolf by Night 32,
Ooh.
and I was actually like a big Moon Knight fan before the show came on. I just have to say that because
Right, it's like being a Bulls fan before the Bulls got Jordan, right?
yes. So yeah, I was hunting this book for like even like for years, and I actually got it maybe a year before they even announced like the show was coming out. And um I don't know, like the way I got it, I think is what means a lot to me because it was like through Instagram and like through a friend of a friend, and just like the way the community worked together, like me putting it out there, I'm looking for this book, and then my friend's like, oh, I know someone, and then like we just connected through that, and I ended up getting this from his personal collection. So yeah, I'm glad I finally have this.
Right.
Looks like a clean copy. I'm jealous. That looks nice.
Right.
It's really nice. There's a lot of like spine damage. I don't know if you can see that.
But that's one of those books you're just happy to have it in the collection, especially
Yes,
for
I am. Especially because from Marvel, he is one of my favorite like Marvel superheroes.
And are you enjoying the new run that's out now by Jed McKay?
I am. I'm really behind. I have some. I started it. I was also picking up like the Moon Knight. What is it, like the Red, White, and Blood?
Right.
That one was really interesting. I really like that one with the different stories and stuff. So
Well, Marcus and I were talking just before we went live that there's all the books we're getting and the books we're reading and the books to be read. The to be read pile's always there.
oh my god, yes.
Same
And then
in your
even
house, huh?
no, yeah, I think it's like 2 short boxes of books I have to read, and then there's like a stack, and then like another stack, and then even like my red stack is like to come and like organize. It's ridiculous.
Right. But you can't part with them. They're awesome. So, well, that
Yeah.
was a great book. All right, so let's head on over to number 3 and see what you got for us.
All right. Okay.
Uh-oh.
I'll probably show this one just because of the show that just came out. And this is the Sandman, number 1, and it's signed by Neil Gaiman.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
That book, that's about to be really hot. I am getting rave reviews for that show. I haven't
and this
watched
was
it
actually my 3rd copy, but have you watched the show?
Not
I
yet,
haven't.
but
I
I've
just
been
finished
reading
Resident
reviews.
Evil. That's my next one to watch.
The Resident Evil?
No, I watched Resident Evil on Netflix. I just finished
Oh,
that.
okay.
Sandman's up next for me.
Was that one good?
It got a lot of hate. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was fun, and I thought it was really good. and it had a strong dynamic of this mom trying to get back to her husband and daughter, and it really worked for me a lot. And there was a bunch of family drama from back in the day. So half of each episode is in the past when she's a teenager, and the other half is in the future. And it's after the initial outbreak. This is like 10 or 20 years later, and all this stuff's happening. But Umbrella's still around doing evil shit, and I liked it. Great creature effects. There's this really awesome giant spider in an episode. This giant mutated crocodile. There's just a bunch of great stuff in it. I thought it was a lot of fun. Let the haters hate. I'm going to enjoy what's out there.
Yeah, I heard some mixed reviews, but mostly negative.
Yeah, I'm easy to please. I loved it. I thought it was really good. I'm looking forward to another season, hopefully.
What was your take on Sandman? No spoilers.
I just started it last night. I watched the first episode. And so far it's I'm like, I don't know. I'm gonna wait until I watch the whole thing to really like judge it. But so far it's good. There was some parts I kind of left out. But then I figured you can't include like every piece or every part from the book. So
now, when it comes to the adaptations, Nat, are you a stickler for it to be really exact, or it's okay because an adaptation's going to wander? You just want them to hit the big points. How do you view them when you're watching them?
Well, nothing's going to be like the book. I'm more of a like the book was better kind of person. Nothing's going to be quite like the book.
Right.
With the Sandman, the Sandman is like my all-time favorite comic book, like my number one, like all time. And so this one, I'm going to be, I didn't have high expectations. I didn't. And then since it's Netflix and the way that I was disappointed with Lock and Key when that came out, right. I was just like, okay, I don't even want to know what they're going to do with the Sandman. So we'll see. I'm just kind of taking it,
an episode at a time.
Yeah. So far it's good. I just know, nothing's going to be quite like the book. Like I always tell people, like, read the book, especially the Sandman. It's so great. It's for everyone out there. And if you're not a reader, even like the audio book is amazing. Like I've listened to the audiobook at least like twice, and it's great.
Who does the reading for the audiobook?
The what?
I said, is it someone famous that does the reading for the audiobook?
Yeah, there's actually a lot of famous actors that do like the voice acting, and Neil Gaiman does the voice for the Sandman.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's amazing too. They have like a bunch of little sound effects that go with it, like the thunder, the lightning, the creaking of the doors. So like it's really great. Like you hear like the horror of it, like even just from listening to it. So I like the audiobook too.
Nice.
It's hard. It's hard to watch a movie when you've read the source material and you have these expectations from the stuff. I've had the similar experience with the movie Ready Player One, so I fully understand. You got to let go of the book and just enjoy it separately as much.
And I really liked Ready Player One. I know a lot of people had their issues with it.
Yeah, it's not as good as the book, man.
I know. It's tough because you know me, I'm a big Robert E. Howard fan. So anytime they adapt anything from him, I'm always like, oh, man. And it's never true. I'm like, you have all these stories. Just adapt one of these stories. All the material's there for you. All you got to do is translate it. And they always want to make up something new. And I'm always like,
yeah,
please don't. Just, it's all there. You don't need anything else. All right. So number 4, Nat, what you got for us?
Oh, well, I wanted to talk a little about this one.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry,
come on, Gary. Jeez.
I know. I'm so pushy.
We're 15 minutes in. Jeez. No, this is actually the whole run, like the whole Sandman run. And I actually got this as a gift for my birthday. So yeah, this book actually means a lot to me because of that. This was like my 3rd copy. I ended up giving away my graded one to my LCS because he's like a huge Sam Keith fan.
Wow.
But yeah, I have to keep this one just because of that signature right there.
Customer
Great.
of the year, folks. Wow.
Right?
No, my LCS is awesome. Like you have to have a great relationship with your comic shop, like
You
for
do.
sure.
If you can, it's important. Yeah.
Yeah, especially
Yeah.
when they get those new books in, and then they call you up and they're like, "Hey,
Now, what kind of short box is that, Nat? The blue one, and
oh,
it looks like a different
this
kind
is
of
the
brand.
TARDIS."
Oh, it is the TARDIS. Look at that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
This is like the
Oh,
top
wow.
half, and then I have another one that's the bottom half, which is basically the other side.
So, are you a big Doctor Who fan then?
I am, but I mean, I haven't watched like the old ones, so I can't call myself like a true fan. But I started watching with like the Ninth Doctor, and I stopped after the 12th, so I haven't watched the new Doctor.
Who's your favorite Doctor then? Mine was Eccleston.
The 10th, like he was, I don't know, he was my favorite. Like the whole story and everything.
Wait, was that the David Tennant one, or was that the Eccleston?
Yeah, David Tennant.
Okay. Yeah, and he
Yeah,
was really good as a Purple Man in Jessica Jones as well.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen Jessica Jones.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. He was in that as the villain, and he was pretty creepy. He
He's in
wasn't
a couple
nice
of
guy.
shows.
What's that?
He's in a couple of shows.
Yeah, he's one of those journeyman actors. He turns up in everything.
Yeah, but there was just something about like him and his relationship with Rose and stuff that was just.
I know
Yeah.
Rose was my favorite companion for the Doctors.
Yeah, Rose and what was her name? Donna. Donna was amazing.
Yeah, I got to watch some more because I've only watched a couple seasons, so I'm not a true Doctor Who fan, but I've seen enough to like what I've seen so far. I know it's always controversial whenever a new Doctor Who's cast, and everyone gets implanted on the last one, and then
Yeah.
it's like anything in fiction. You got your favorites, and then you got your favorite actor who plays them, and then it's tough to change it.
It is, but I mean, even the one following Tenet, what was his name? Matt. I forgot his name.
Matt Smith.
Yeah, he did pretty good. He's not my favorite though. He was a little too like crazy. He's a lot of people's favorite, but even that, like, it was enjoyable.
Did you watch the Peter Capaldi one at all? Either
Yeah, I did. That one was. That's when I started to kind of like stop watching it, just because I don't know. It's like I felt like they were running out of ideas for sure.
Ooh, Lady Fantastic says, I just recently watched Jessica Jones and Tennant kills it he does. He is so creepy. Tom Baker is the all-time best.
That's what I hear, yeah.
Lady Fantastic loves Sam Keith, especially his Max stuff. And she has never watched Doctor Who before.
I actually have some really cool lights up there. I don't know if you can see them. Like Doctor Who lights. They're TARDIS lights.
Wow. So I love that you have your own little nerd cave there.
It's a closet.
Our little nerd sections in our homes, right?
Yeah. This is what I'm stuck with.
That's okay. At least you have it. It looks well packed and packed with a lot of love and care and great stuff.
Yes, very, very packed. Overflowing.
She says, digs the TARDIS swag. Yeah, the TARDIS is one of those just really cool design things, and you never get. And I don't know, this is a spatial thing of walking in, and then it's this big ship, and it's all just cool stuff.
It's really cool. Yeah, the Daleks too. They're really big. My son got big on the Daleks. Like, just I guess the way they look and stuff. He's never seen the show, but like he thinks they're really cool. And then they were in the Batman, the Batman Lego movie. He thought that was the coolest thing. He's like, "There's Daleks, Mom." I was like, "Wow, it's cool."
Well, that's the fun thing about the Lego movie. So you don't know who's going to turn up in them because they hold so many licenses.
Yeah.
All right, number 4.
Okay. Let's see. Okay. I'm gonna say it's gonna be my Saga just because it's one of my top favorite stories.
Ooh, Saga is amazing.
It is. And I feel like everyone and their mom now likes Saga, which is fine. But yeah, I remember picking up this one like when it first started. Well, maybe I was a little behind. Maybe I was like 5 issues behind. But this particular comic, it's funny because I bought it from Shortbox when they were first starting, and I think this was Jean's copy. So I ended up buying Jean's copy. But yeah, and I have a few other at CGC right now.
Brother
But
John, my mom hates Saga.
Well, I have to learn.
It's so amazing. And I'm not gonna ruin it, but when that first arc ended, what a tearjerker that was. Like you were so invested in what happened in that issue was just it was horrible.
like before the hiatus, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah, it was. And then I think what hurt the most was that huge gap. Like him just
Right.
leaving us like that. Like, you know, I don't know. Well, maybe it was also for the best because it did soften it a little, you know. He gave us time to grieve.
Yeah.
Lady Fantastic. I can tell she has a pile of more than 10 and she's having trouble choosing between her precious comic babies. I too know because Lady Fantastic was our last guest on the 1011. And she had to
Yeah,
go.
she's awesome. Yes, I know Lady Fantastic. I need to watch her. She was on there. That's awesome. I'll watch.
She was on our last. She was on in the hot seat and on the 1011. She did both shows in 1 week.
Oh wow, that's
We
sweet.
had a great time with her.
That's awesome. Yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah, Saga, man, and it's one of those books. Like when you open it, you're caught from page 1.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't waste any time hooking you. Like some comics, you got to give 2 or 3 issues to before they really start sinking in. And after that first issue of Saga, you're fully invested. You already know
Yeah.
the characters. You already are worried about them, and that's the best thing is they're these fantastical characters, but you relate to them.
And the art and
Oh
like
yeah,
it's yes,
you want to
it's so
Staples?
good. Have you read Saga, Marcus?
I've read like the first 2 or 3 volumes. I have the first 6, and I'm working my way through it. I do enjoy it. I love that cover. I do love the art, and that's a dope slab, man. That one's that's a hot one too. That price is going up on that one.
Yeah, I every time I saw one like at any shop, I would pick it up. So I had up to like 7 at one point. I think right now I have 5. 3 are
No.
at CGC, and then I have one raw, and I have this one that's a 9.8 that I bought 9.8. But
Are they all
yeah,
keepers?
I was hunting it. No, yeah, I was hunting these. Like every time I saw one at a shop or something, I'm like, no, I'm getting this. And I got them like when they were 150, you know. So I'm just like, no, I have to get these. A few of the ones I sold were like, I know they weren't going to be 9.8s, so those are the ones I kind of sold. But
That's okay.
yeah, it's been going up for sure, especially it being like a white cover. It's so hard to find.
Yeah.
Now,
Or
are
to get
you a
this.
Paper Girls fan too?
The what?
Are you a Paper Girls fan too? With Brian K. Vaughan writing it? Because I think that series is really fun too. I haven't started watching it though, so I don't know if the TV show compares or not.
I wasn't. I read volume 1 and 2. I have them. But like everyone was just like really praising it. Like they said it was really great. I thought it was just like it was okay, you know. I did feel it was really rushed. Like the story, like he just really rushed it. You didn't really get a lot of character development. It was like straight into like what happened, and then like you know they time traveled, and now they're stuck, and then like it was just so rushed to me. The show itself feels like that too. Like episode 1, you're kind of already gone through the whole volume 1 and starting
Wow.
volume 2. Yeah, so I don't know. We watched episode like me and my son watched 1 and 2, so I haven't finished it. So I don't know.
Because that's a series I was really enjoying. So I thought it was, for me, it was paced fine, and I liked the characters a lot. But it's kind of worrisome that like the whole first arc is in 1 episode.
Yeah, that's what it kind of felt like. But I don't know. Like I said, for me, it was the pacing overall. So maybe, I don't know.
Yeah,
That's what I thought. I haven't read reviews either, so I don't know what other people thought.
It's funny because I don't ever really listen to reviews. Do you, Marcus? I always like to judge something for myself. It doesn't matter if it gets panned or praised. I'll watch it and I want to form my own. Like, I will go to the theater and see anything that's been literally bombed by everybody because I like Morbius. Everyone said don't go see it. I went and watched it. Whatever it is, I'll go watch it. I don't care. I always have to have my own opinion. I might be the one person out there that loves it to death.
Yeah.
Always possible. I like to see what the Gram thinks, the comic book family on the Gram thinks. I can usually get a good read on something based on, the various people in the community.
Right. And part of my reason for not doing that too is I think kind of the culture today, I think has evolved into where people think it's cool to be negative, so everything's got to suck. If it's not made especially for you, it sucks, and I don't agree with that philosophy. If it's not made for me, I'll just say I don't care for that. It doesn't speak to me, but I will never say it sucks because just because it's not for me doesn't make it bad.
Yeah.
I agree with that. And then there is definitely a coolness to hating on something. If everyone likes it, then like there's definitely a section of people who like feel cool being the
Right. I think a
only
lot of
people
people
that
think
don't like it.
hating on something validates them, and
Yeah.
I guess I'm just an old optimist. I don't understand that point of view.
Well, a long time ago on Twitter, a guy who was an American, but he spent time in Japan as well. And he said one of the differences between the two cultures is that the Japanese spend time talking about what they love on social media and what they're excited about, whereas Americans talk about what they hate. So something
That's
to think about.
interesting. It actually puts me off when people really like something. Like when they're like, this movie was so good or the show is so good. It makes me not want to watch it. And I won't watch it for like a long time.
Now, have you had a
Um,
show that's come out in the last year that's just really blown you away that you've loved and didn't expect to like?
A show?
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. I'm not really like a TV person. Like even with movies, I didn't really watch a lot of movies. Well, I mean, I do, but I'm not like those people that can like quote movies or like they can tell you the year. And my husband's like that. Um, but I don't know. I wasn't like that. Like we grew up not really watching a lot of TV or shows. So I don't know. I don't think I really watch a lot of TV. I mean, I watch like the MCU shows and stuff, and I have a couple of my favorite shows, but I don't know. Maybe because I don't have time now.
Right. I did love Miss Marvel, and everyone was saying that was going to be horrible, and I thought it was incredible.
yeah, it was fun.
It was pretty good. Yeah, it was entertaining.
And now I'm
I
really
think
ready for She Hulk.
I like it more because I want my daughter because my daughter wants to like would be like, "You want to watch Miss Marvel?" And she was just like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." So like I see how it might be like the girl superhero part of it all because she's attracted more to like female superheroes. So I like that she can see that like on the screen. You know, she can have that female superhero or like
Yeah.
know that there's female superheroes.
Nice. All right. How about number 5?
Okay, so it is Invincible.
Oh,
Ooh.
And I was also a huge fan of Invincible before the show and everything. I actually read this like years ago. I didn't read it when it came out. That was way before. But yeah, I had been after this one. This was on like my wish list for a long time. And I actually found this one through like the community as well. And I managed to buy like the whole run. So I have like the whole run
oh
that he
wow.
shipped out to me, including this one. And I actually just met him at San Diego Comic Con. Like he went up to me, he was like, "Hey, I'm the one that sold you the Invincible." And I was just like, "Oh wow, like thank you." He had never sold anything like online, so he was just like, "I really didn't want to. Like I didn't know if I should trust you, and I had to like talk to my comic buddy." And he was like, ask around, or I don't know. So I'm glad he did though. I was like, I'm glad he did. It went to a good home. I'm a huge fan of Invisible. Like this is one of my top favorite stories as well.
Now, have you
Um,
read all the issues too, Nat?
I read, how many volumes are there? There's a lot. There's like 12 volumes, isn't there? I'm like almost done.
So you've read a good chunk of it.
Yes, more than half for sure, but I haven't finished it. And I have them all there, but like I don't like reading singles whenever I already have them like put up, so I'll end up buying like a trade or something, or if I can get it online. So that's the reason I haven't finished it.
That's okay. Sometimes I'm like that too. Like if I have the floppy something, but I have the trade of it, I'll leave the floppy pristine, and I'll just read the trade.
Yeah, I'm not gonna take these out.
Did you watch the show?
Yep,
I did, and actually that one was really good. It was like very like up to par with the book, actually.
Nice.
I have to finish
maybe because it was
season.
animated. I don't know. Did y'all watch it?
I'm 3 episodes in.
I loved it. I never read the books. It was my introduction. The show was my introduction to Invincible, and I loved it, man. It made me wish that I was collecting when the books came out, for sure.
Oh man, and see the thing with that show, it was paced wonderfully. Like whatever you've seen so far, it's not even like it hasn't even started. Like you are not prepared. Like you have not. Man, it hasn't even showed anything.
That show punches you right in the mouth.
Oh, I'm sorry, Marcus. Go ahead, sir.
I was going to say that show punches you right in the mouth right at the end of the first episode. It's like, all right, let's go. This is not a game. So I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, and I didn't jump on it right away because I know Mark. Is it Miller or Millar? How he pronounce? I think he pronounces it
Millar. Yeah.
I'm not a big Walking Dead fan. I know that's horrible to say, but zombies bore me. But here I am, the guy who just watched the Resident Evil show and loved it. But and I don't know if it's because I didn't read the books first, but the show I watched 3 seasons of The Walking Dead, and just the same formula every season wore on me. You know, they meet up, they set out, someone dies, they meet another group, they fight that group. Both people from both groups die. They become one group, and they wash and repeat the same season. You know, over and over with a different group you meet, and then they all meld together. And I was like, they're kind of doing the same thing every year. And it kind of took me off it. And then also, I was a big Glenn fan. So when Glenn was gone, I had no reason to watch it. I was like, all right, I'm good. He killed my favorite character.
I heard the comics were actually really good, though.
Yeah, but I hear the comics are better, yeah.
I hear that, too. I mean, they must be. I mean, they're selling them all again, reprinted in color, and they're selling like crazy.
I have like the first compendium somewhere. I haven't read it though. Yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned Mark Millar. I know it's Robert Kirkman, right? What does Millar do?
Oh, I did say it is Kirkman. I said the.
Yeah, it's Kirkman. Yeah,
I was trying to figure out what I was missing. I was like, what did Millar do? I'm trying to.
You're not missing anything. I just misspoke, Marcus. I said the wrong guy. I think Mark Millar's got the Netflix deal, and that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, he does.
But all right.
Start this though.
Oh yeah, and that's a hefty one.
That is a lot.
My Tomb Raider compendium's that big.
There's I think 3 of them.
Yeah, well, they put out a lot of those books, so.
There's 3 or yeah, well, I don't know. It'll take me a while to read that.
Yeah, I quit Walking Dead when they
did. Get into the black and white. Man, my whole Savage Sword of Conan, is black and white. I love the black and white.
I quit the show when they didn't kill Negan.
When they what? When they didn't kill who?
They defeated Negan and they didn't kill him. And I was like,
okay.
Right. Like, Negan should definitely die. He's not a hero. He's not an anti-hero. He's just.
Well, I think that had to do with the great actor they had playing him.
Yeah, he was. The actor was great, but that dude needed
Jeffrey
to die.
Dean Morgan, right?
Yeah, he was
that
great.
That guy's just got charisma, so.
He did good. He did really good.
He still needed to die, though.
All right, number 6, Nat.
Okay. Probably my Batman 121.
Ooh.
Where's Mr.
Mr. Freeze.
What's Mr. Zero? Yeah, he's not called by name till later. But this I actually got graded. It was graded. It was a 4.5. So this is like the first book I ever broke out of a slab. Like I'd never broken a book out of a slab before, and I did it. It was a 4.5.
Oh, I mean, what was the reason for breaking out of the?
Oh, I felt like I could get it like regraded, and I wanted to read it.
Wow.
I haven't like sent it in yet though, but I will. I'm gonna get it like cleaned. But this was also a gift to me.
What a fantastic gift.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was. But yeah, I broke it out on live on Instagram, and I was super nervous. Like I was just like shaking. I didn't know what to do. But I managed to do it, and it was awesome. And it smells like amazing.
Yeah, that old comic book smell.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you gonna press and clean and resubmit?
We talk about it all the time.
I want to. I am definitely gonna get it. Yeah, if you recommend anyone for like cleaning and pressing and stuff, let me know.
Actually, I have a channel sponsor, the Rogue Trader, Eric.
Rogue Trader plug. There it is.
And you get if you use the code Keep It Casual, you get 10% off.
Oh wow! All right.
Good work. Way to work that in.
And Eric's well known, so it's not someone that doesn't know books. This is what he does for a living. Oh, and we lost Nat.
Sorry, I was trying to turn on my light.
Oh, there you go.
It's like on a motion sensor.
Yeah, the lady fantastic. Haha, get a sniff. Because any of us that are reading the old books, you always will find us. Every time I crack one of my Bronze Age Conans, right? The first you bring it up, and then you read.
Oh my god, it's amazing.
It's one of those sensory things. Like you don't get that with digital, right? You got to have the book in your hand. And I'm not banging on digital. It's a great medium, but I'm hands-on when it comes to reading. And I was talking about before when I'm reading, and let me know if you're like this at home, Nat. If you're reading, do you get so lost in it that someone could be talking to you, you don't even know they're there? Like, has your husband or kid ever come up and tap you like, what's going on? You know, because you're just lost in the story.
It happens more with like books, like actual books, than comics. Comics, I think I'm very, I can get distracted easily, but with like books, I'm actually like really into a whole different world.
Yeah, they can definitely teleport you. Hey, there's Joe. My old books smell so nice. Yes, they do, sir.
They do.
All right, we were getting to number 6. We've been on the windy road to it.
All right. I'm gonna show off my Berserker 1, and it's signed by Keanu Reeves.
Oh wow, super jealous already.
Is that 1 in 500? What is that?
Yeah, I think it was the 1 in 500. Yeah. So this one I thought was really cool. I got it because I was planning on selling it, but I don't think I'll ever sell it.
Now, did you get to meet him and have it signed?
No, I bought it. I bought it it came with like all the other variants, so I literally have like every variant of number 1. Talking about spec though, I think this might be I don't know, pretty big because it's like Keanu Reeves' first comic or whatever. But I actually got to meet Matt Kent at a party at San Diego. So he's a super nice guy. It was so awesome. He was so nice. Yeah.
Well, and I think really nice. Didn't he sign a deal with Netflix for this book for Berserker before it was?
Yeah, I just saw that though. I don't know if they had just announced it.
It was last year. It's live action and an anime show.
Came out.
Yeah.
Oh, but they did announce something.
Yeah, he got mind management.
Yes, mind management and Bang.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool. So I feel like we'll definitely see this. You know, being.
I think if one of them is spec worthy, it would have to be one of those high incentives because there's like 500,000 copies of that book out there being sold. So I think if any of them are spec worthy, it'd have to be one of those high incentives.
Well, Comics owns 3/4 of those.
Yeah, and they destroyed half of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful book, though. I really love that cover. Was that Mark Brooks on that, or who was the cover on that one?
It's Myers, John Boy Myers.
Myers.
Ah, yes, John Boy Myers. That's right. I should have known that. Yeah, that's a great cover. I love it.
Yeah,
Very,
and Keanu
very.
Reeves. I mean, he's a great actor. He's probably one of my top favorite, just because of like
Well,
his personal life and just how I don't know. I mean, I don't know him, so I can't really say, but it just seems like he's like a very great down to earth guy.
right,
Like in real life.
you only hear good stories about him.
Yeah.
And his kindness and helping people and
he's been an icon. He's been so many different iconic characters.
Right.
He's
I'm already
one of
looking
the all
forward to
time.
John Wick 4.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see what they do with Berserker.
Right?
Yeah, and like I said, I kind of wanted to like sell it, but I wanted to keep it just because like my son, my oldest son, he's 9, but like he knows who Keanu Reeves is now. Like, he was like in the SpongeBob movie and he's like been on Fortnite. So like I'm just like, okay, like my son's growing up with this actor already. He knows who he is. Like one day if I do pass this on to him, like he's gonna appreciate it. Like he's gonna be like, wow, like I have Keanu Reeves' first comic book signed. So.
Right. No, it's amazing, and I think Keanu Reeves is a signature anybody would want to have, just because he's a cool dude.
It's not just his first comic book, though. It's a high incentive. His first,
Right.
It's a 1 in 500.
500.
His
Now,
first comic book. A ton of people have that one. Not a lot of people have the 1 in 500, though.
Right.
Well, true, but like it's still a big deal. Like it's his first like.
I'm saying it's more of a big deal.
Yeah, of course. Well, I mean, even just having the signature, like even if you just have a Keanu Reeves signature on a regular #1 cover, like it would still be a big deal.
Now, Werewolf by Lunchtime want to know if you had ever based your look on a comic book character.
Or
no.
cosplayed at all. No cosplay.
Well, I had been working on like a Jessica Cruz cosplay just because she's one of my favorite characters. I never really quite finished it. And also, when I go to conventions, I can't do cosplay. Like, I'm either digging or like I'm gonna be doing signatures or running around back and forth. Like I can't just be there and like, oh, cosplay.
It's not just fun for you. You're there with an agenda.
There's business to into.
Yes, I'll be like digging. I'll be on the floor, literally sitting on the ground looking through boxes, or I'm just like going back and forth with Artist Alley and all that stuff.
Elaborate cosplayers, and one, I don't know what kind of crazy talent they have to make some of the stuff they make. And two, you see them, and I'm like, that convention's already got to be hot, and in that costume, it's got to be like twice as hot. They got to be like just downing liquids constantly just to stay hydrated there.
Yeah, it's a lot of work too.
We got Joe and Lady Fantastic talking about the breakdown of old comics and the smells, hints of almond and vanilla. Lady Fantastic, Caroline dropping the knowledge for us.
She's bringing that science lab in for us. Right. Thank you.
More of a smell.
Pretty prevalent. Or that attic smell.
Yeah. It's like that old bookstore smell, though. It's amazing.
Right. Yeah, because I love going, and you don't find them as much anymore. I love going into a used bookstore. Just as soon as you walk in the door and you smell all those books. And then I usually I go there, and I know I'm there at least an hour and a half just looking at stuff.
Yeah.
All right, number 7, Nat. What you got?
I'm going to go with my Batgirls. There's 2. Just because. Huh?
Said you're flexing. Not 1, but 2.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm collecting like my Batman rogues, so I figured I had to get like Harley Quinn. It wasn't on my list or anything. I'm not a Harley Quinn fan like at all. And it's quite funny because I came across this seller at a con, and he had 4 copies of these, and they were on newsstand. And I was trying to get him to sell me all for $700. I was just like, look, all 4, just $700 right now. But he was like, man, the con just started. It's a Friday. I don't know. I can't sell you all 4. So I finally convinced him to sell me 2. And I did it because I was just like, man, like this Harley Quinn means so much to me. I was just like going on and on about how much I wanted this book because of Harley Quinn and stuff. And I guess he felt kind of bad, and he was just like, okay. He gave me like a really good deal. I ended up getting like both of these for like $300.
Wow.
Ooh-wee,
Yeah.
wow.
And they're
So
new.
One's well over that now.
How are you
So
feeling about cancellation news? You doing okay? Yeah.
It didn't really affect me, honestly. I gave up on DC like a long time ago.
That's the thing about the Batgirls cancellation is there was far more talk about the cancellation than there was excitement for the show coming in the first place, you know.
I'm a bit disappointed that they're not canceling the Flash movie though.
Yeah.
I put that on my Instagram. I was like, cancel Flash, save Batgirl.
Like, why? Why would they? I don't know.
Because we've had like 70 Batman movies. I'd love to see a Barbara Gordon movie or even any of the other Batgirls.
You know? I just want to know the reason why, though. Like, I feel like maybe they're hiding something. Like,
well, they said that it tested poorly in audiences, and then another reason came out that by taking a tax loss on it, it saves them a bunch of money. So
I heard that with the whole 10-year plan, it didn't really fit into the reworking of what they're trying to do with the DC universe. But I know Brother John mentioned the other day that, or maybe it was last night, that people keep mentioning that it reviewed badly, but I guess it was just one bad review from an outlet that said it was too woke of a film to be good or something like that. So who knows what really is going on with that one.
I thought Leslie Grace looked good as the Batgirl.
It looked cool, yeah. Hard to say though.
But I kept calling it Batwoman. I'm like, why would it be Batgirl?
Sticking with the name,
I guess. Batgirl.
But she was an adult. So I mean, Batgirl like makes me think of someone young just coming into the role, like a young Robin when he first becomes a sidekick. You know, he graduates into Nightwing.
Yeah. It's like in the Lego movie when she's like, "You're Batgirl." He's like, "If you call me Batgirl, can I call you Batboy?"
Lady Fantastic's got it right. I was trying to remember. They canceled Batgirl for a tax break.
So that is what it is. That sounds feasible to me. Yeah, it makes sense.
But what doesn't make sense is why not show it on the Warner Brothers app, right?
Wonder Woman Dead is amazing.
You know, I don't know if you read it, Nat, but I think and I'm not a big DC guy. I'm gonna make my Marvel all day long. But I loved the Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow story. I thought it was one of the best stories last year. I don't know if you read that or not.
Is that the one that Tom King did?
Yes.
I'm not big on Tom King. I have my reasons, but no, I did.
I read from him, so I thought it was really good.
I didn't read it. I heard it was good. Oh, if I find the issue, or is there a trade out?
Yeah, there's a trade now.
I'll check it out for sure.
The art in it is amazing too. The art just fits the story really well. It's like one of those circumstances where the two just meet really, really well and gel.
Yes. What? Oh.
Yeah, Joe says here, Supergirl was great.
That's awesome.
And that's coming from a guy who's not a DC fan. I thought it was one of the better stories last year.
All right.
But I just picked it up because on the first cover she had a sword. I'm like, ooh, Supergirl's going savage. So I bought it. Like, I want to see Supergirl with a sword. Like, here's this all-powerful being. Why does she need a sword? I wanted to know. You know, she can kick everything's butt around her. And the story was great. All right, number 8, Nat.
Wait, do I need... Am I missing one? Okay, I'm gonna... This is like my top Ultimate Grail book that I ended up getting.
Ooh.
My Chamber of Chills 19. And I had been after this book for years too. I never thought ever in my life I would own this book.
Could you just do me a favor? Put that cover a little closer. I just want to get a better look at it.
That looks like a sick cover. I love it.
Wow, that is amazing.
Wow, that is super nice.
I've seen it before. It's just so good and so imaginative. Like seeing her reflection as a skeleton through the glass.
Yeah, dude, that is so. I've never seen this book before. That is so dope.
Really? You never seen this book before?
No.
I've seen it on Bill's channel, Comic Mag Musings, because he's a big horror and pre-code horror collector.
Yeah, this is like the only Golden Age book I own. I'm not there yet.
Now, have you read that, Nat?
I have. It's funny because a lot of people want this book because of the cover. Is this actually on like the Misfits album cover? That's why a lot of people connected to that too. You know, like Misfits, the band. They have an album cover with this girl like holding. They swiped it from this book, and a lot of people connected to that, and that's why this book is like gone up in value. But the reason I wanted it was because of one of the stories in here, which is called Happy Anniversary. It's like the first one. Yeah, he's like, here's to you looking, darling, happy anniversary. And it's like she ends up like killing her husband and stuff because he's like cheating on her. But I've always had like an attraction to like those gothic horror like kind of stories. Ever since I was like in English class reading like gothic literature and stuff. So when I read this book, I actually wanted it. I was just like, I want it. And then because I realized the cover was, you know, really famous. So that was like my second reason. I finally got it. It was being auctioned on Heritage. And I was like, I'm going to just go for it now. And I'm glad I did because in the last like 2 years, it has like tripled in price.
Wow.
So,
right time, right place, huh?
Yeah. And so I'm never letting this one go for sure.
Now, does it credit the cover artist on the front?
It's Leah Leah's. The Leah Leah's cover.
Well, that's just, yeah, it's just so good. And I love the trade dress of it too.
It's fantastic. There's another Chamber of Chills I'm after. I think it's 22. And that one's like a zombie cover with like his face melting off. So you'll probably like that one too. Yeah. All these like old school like pre-coded horror covers are fantastic. I wish I had money to invest in more pre-coded horror.
They're amazing, and just some of the things you put on, and you're like, "Wow, I can't believe that's on there." But it's so good, you can't stop looking at it.
Yeah.
Before they censored it, they just let them do what they wanted, and it was amazing freedom of expression on those covers.
Yeah. Even with like bondage covers, I'm really big on bondage covers too. I think those are really interesting. It's crazy what they got away with.
Right? Well, it just, you always love it when you see that they snuck something on a cover that no one's noticed, and here it is like 30 years later, and you get to see something that no one ever really paid attention to.
Yeah.
But that was a great.
That was very nice. Book. Very nice.
I think that comes to show though that, you know, comics weren't just for kids, you know? Like,
and they never have been.
They never have been, yeah.
Hell, half the big words I learned growing up were from comics. I'm reading them, like, oh, where's my dictionary? Look that word up before I even went another word on. I'd have to look up the word to find out what it meant.
Yeah, it's actually proven, that comic books have like greater like reading whatever than like regular books. I tell my son that all the time. I'm like, hey, read comics, you'll get your AR level up.
Right, and then also just the amount of people who've come over to the country that have started learning English through reading comics. It's just amazing. Like, they've had such a positive impact, but you had so many people that were out there trying to just get rid of them. They just
never.
I mean, by all means, bring them here.
Right. All right, number 9, Nat. What do you got?
Okay, so it was 10, and then
one with a big story, and then a spec pick.
Oh, dang, so I am missing one.
There should be 4 books left. So far, I got Trick or Treat, Werewolf by Night 32, Sandman 1, Saga, Invincible, Berserker, Harley Quinn,
Saga.
Chamber of Chills.
Yeah, I'm missing a book.
Oh, that's all right. We'll just go with your next one. We won't make you go. We won't make you search
Nope.
out.
Because this is
Dot
gonna be my
point.
final one because it's like my big one.
We're doing a 911 tonight, but we've got
That's-
extended stories, so it's all
That's
good.
minus 100 points, docked.
Right?
My stories, though.
Plus 500 for the stories. All right, let's go.
All right. So,
Hey, well, my bad girl, my bad girls. There was 2 of them, so.
There you go.
you know what?
Nice.
Batgirl's the one I missed. No, that's Harley.
Yeah, what's the first Harley Quinn?
Oh, yes, it is. I have it. Okay, I'm sorry. Anyway, Green
Maybe
Lantern. It
four.
doesn't matter. We're having
5,
fun.
6, 7, 8. Yeah, Showcase 22. Yes. So, I don't know if you know, but Hal Jordan's like my favorite superhero. So this one's like really all-time favorite. Like, I never thought I would own this one too, but I tried really hard. I was like, I'm gonna do it, and I did it. So it was like my first major Grail purchase. I ended up buying it off this dentist. Yeah. So.
Now, why is he your favorite? Is like what connects you to that character?
Well, that's where my next books comes in.
Oh, okay.
But,
well, we will go for it then. But
yeah, I mean, I first started reading like my first, I guess, it was, I don't want to say introduction to comics because I mean I grew up with Batman and the animated series and stuff like that, but I guess I first really got into comics because of like Green Lantern. So I don't know, Hal Jordan's he's amazing. Like, okay, I can talk about Hal Jordan all day, but
what did you think of the movie?
No, not about the movie. The movie sucked. The movie was not good. No, but yeah, look, I even have my own.
Was that Hal in the movie with Ryan Reynolds? Was that Hal Jordan?
God, yeah, no, that movie was not good. It was. I mean, they did really good on him and stuff, and it just wasn't good. But yeah, there's something about like the way I always like tell people, or what I always say is like, because like there's 2 Green Lanterns that I'm really, really like connected with, which is Hal Jordan and Jessica Cruz. And Hal Jordan is more like he's kind of like the person he's kind of like the person that I want to be, you know, like when I see him and how he just like overcomes everything, how he's just like has that willpower, he just like steps in, he doesn't really think, he's just like acts. Like, I'm just like, wow. Like, I was just really surprised. I'm like, I want to be that kind of person. And Jessica Cruz is more like the person that I am, but I really like how she overcame, like, you know, her anxiety and all that, and how she was still worthy of being a Green Lantern. So, like, whenever she always questioned herself, and, you know, she would even question, like, the ring, like, why am I a Green Lantern? Like, I'm not supposed to, like, I'm not worthy to be wearing this ring. Like, the ring would tell her, like, you are, because you are overcoming this, you know, illness, or I don't want to say illness, but, you know, mental.
Yeah, it's a roadblock in her life.
Block, yes, that, you know, that you went through, but you're strong enough to overcome it. So that to me is like really fascinating. Just to be like, wow, maybe I could be a Green Lantern, you know? But yeah, just the fact of like just having that willpower of overcoming fear, you know? It's actually one of the reasons why like Scarecrow is my favorite Batman villain. I think that's terrifying. It's absolutely terrifying to have that like that control where like they use your greatest fear to like control you. Like that is absolutely terrifying. Like, hey, Scarecrow, he is my worst villain, my worst nightmare. But yeah, Hal Jordan's just like wow. Like I look up to him. I'm not really like I'm not like attracted to him or nothing. Like I don't want to say like, oh, he's my favorite superhero. Like, oh my god, he's like
No,
no.
he's just like the hero for you.
Yes, I look up to him a lot. He's like this big brother kind of. I don't know. A lot of people hate on Hal Jordan. They really don't like Hal, but I just like him.
I
Like
don't know, Hal was always my favorite Green
he
Lantern.
was my favorite.
But I'm
Like
not
for
well
sure.
versed in all the lanterns anyway. But I used to like the old series too with him and Green Arrow.
Yeah, that's
So
great.
every
I
time
just
I would read one, it was always a bit of fun.
I like the way he is. I really do. I like the he doesn't like really ask questions. He's very impulsive, but he has like a good head on his shoulders. So
Some
Nice.
big dog books right there. Very
Well,
nice.
now I'm just curious about the one with a story that ties into that.
oh okay. So it's not a it's gonna be this.
Oh wow,
And
that
it's
is a big
Blackest Night.
contender.
Ooh, wow.
So Blackest Night was this omnibus. Blackest Night's like the story that I first read. So I was just like, wow, like what is this? This is amazing. And Jeff Johns he's a great storyteller. But like everything about it, I mean just everything. Like the story and the world that Jeff Johns created, he's the one that created the whole spectrum. So like all the Green Lantern spectrum, Court. And I was like, wow, I want you to know more about this character. So then I went back and picked up like, his rebirth and stuff. But yeah, so Blackest Night is I guess literally what got me into comics.
Now that's actually a hole in my comic book reading. I've never actually read Blackest Night.
Okay. Well, I have a list of the reading order because it was like a whole 9 years that Jeff John did on Green Lantern. And you need to read it from like the start. So you can't just read Blackest Night. Like you have to read from the beginning, like Rebirth and everything,
Oh
like
wow.
Secret Origins, all that. But this is just like I can't like I'm sorry, but this is like the greatest story you will
Who's the
ever read.
artist? Who's the artist in there?
Well, there's different, but Ivan Reyes probably did most of them.
Looks great.
That one's probably Ivan Reyes. And he became one of my favorite artists because I really like the way he did the
And
style
Joe
and stuff.
agrees with you, Nat. He says he has all the Blackest Night comic books, and it was a great series.
Yeah, so Blackest Night or this run, like his Green Lantern run, is probably the first single issue series run that I collected. Like I went and I tried to find everything, so I collected like the whole Blackest Night and then every tie-in. Like I have everything. So this is probably the first collected run that I got.
Now, is that to you the most iconic story in comics history? Then to you?
I mean, to me, yeah, but I'm really biased. Like I said, it was like my I don't know. It's just I don't know. The world that he created was just amazing because you can read Green Lantern back before this, and it's like all right, and it was great, and yes, like how was this and that, but like just the way that John's like introduced the color spectrum, I think it was just perfect because it wasn't just the Green Lanterns then, and it wasn't just like the yellow cores either. It was like, oh, there's this whole color spectrum based on emotion and these power rings that control it or whatever. And it's just I don't know, the way he wrote it and just tied it in was just fascinating.
And that's okay to be biased towards it. I mean, that's why we all have favorites, right? We're biased towards towards a certain story or character that connects with us. Oh, hold on, I gotta do my mod thing here and get rid of every show we get a We get
Yeah, you ain't made it till you get a hacker in here.
right. And see, and that's part of what this show is about. Nat, like seeing like the pure joy on someone's face when they're talking about a story and character that they love. I mean, that's what makes comics as great as they are, right? That's why we all read them. That's why we're all invested.
Yeah.
My favorite story isn't going to be yours, and our favorite story
Yeah.
is going to be Marcus's. But if we happen to all like the same story too, then that's a whole nother level of connection that we have. And that's another great thing too. Just the diversity of the stories that are out there. There's literally something that speaks to everybody in comics, and you
Yeah.
can't say that about every medium that exists. But comics is unique in that way. Comics and movies, there's something out there for everyone.
Yeah. I know like X-Men impacted a whole lot of people.
Right. Now, we're to what you would do as a spec pick. So, what is Nat's spec pick for that you think that the people watching should keep an eye on?
Get your wallets ready, people.
Right? Because if
I don't
it's anything like all the other stuff she's brought out, it's going to be a banger.
Yeah, be
no,
ready.
actually, this one's kind of hard because, like I said, I don't really speculate. I mean, I don't know. I'm more of a like I read stories, and if they're really good, I tell people like go read this. Um, I don't really like like I always tell people like you can't speculate on something unless it's like good. And how do you know if it's good unless like you read it, right?
Right.
So, I don't know. It's hard because there's like a lot of stories out there that are good. But if I had to pick one, um, I would go with Nice House on the Lake.
Yeah, there you go.
And she's got it in at 9.8.
Very nice.
Yeah, I actually have like 7 copies of this, so that's why I picked this. 'Cause if I had to speculate, yeah, it would probably be this one.
I had
Just
two, but
because
I sold them.
you what?
I had two copies, but I sold them because it helped me get a Grail book.
Nice.
I have a few copies as well.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's a great pick.
It's a really good story.
Tynan's always a safe pick when it comes to spec, it feels like, too.
I know. All his stories have been great. His Something is Killing the Children. I don't want to say I slept on. Like I picked it up. I remember reading like 1, 2, and 3, and I was like, this is all right. It's not that good. And then I kept adding it to like my box, but then people were like, "Are you reading Something's Killing the Children? Are you reading Something's Killing the Children?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm a little behind, not really." And then sometimes like my LCS like wouldn't put the book in, or I would forget to pull it, or I don't know. So like there was a few I missed out on, and then around like issue 9, I was like, okay, maybe I should look for these issues because people are telling me to read it, but now I'm not caught up because I'm missing like 4 and 5. And finally I did, and it just blew up. Like
I wish I would have been around back then.
It blew up. And it's funny because that number 1, when I did a review on my Instagram, like I took pictures with it, and I was just like holding it. I was just like, where's the book? Yeah, I was just like taking pictures like this, and I was just like this. So like it has like 2 or 3 like spine ticks, so I was just like so careless with it. And I was just like, dang, like who would have known?
Oh well, you had fun with it.
Now, being a horror fan, Nat, have you read The Silver Coin at all? Because that's one of my favorite horror series right now.
Which one?
The Silver Coin.
Oh yes.
I love that book. It's so good.
Which one has been your favorite story?
Oh,
that's a hard question.
It is because there's a lot of good ones. I thought the one with the janitor was really good.
That was a good. Was that Tynan's? Or that was before Tynan's?
No, I think yeah, and I like the slasher one. The girls at the camp was a lot of fun too.
That was an early one, yeah.
Yeah, and also the gambling one was cool with the coin.
That was gambling one was good.
There was only one I didn't like, and it was by a famous writer. I can't remember it right now. I think it was issue like 4.
Ram V.
What was it about? I love Ron V. Ron V is I read anything Ron V.
It kind of took place in the future, and I didn't connect to it at all. And there was the person was in the society. It was like a future society, and it just I just didn't care for it. But that was the only one. All the other issues I've loved, and I love, and I don't know, a lot of people didn't read this. It was only 4 or 5 issues, but Midnight Western Theater I thought was really good, and that had a great character. So there's this vampire and this girl, and they're just like they just combat other beings, and it's through the ages. Like her family was murdered when she was young, and this vampire took her in, and it's all sorts of great stuff. And it's got my only problem with that is the font when the vampire speaks is really tiny, so it's hard to read. Other than that, though, Midnight Western Theater was a great horror read.
Do you know who wrote it?
I have it put away. I don't, but I can look it up real quick. It was fantastic though. It was one of those indies that just kind of went under the radar.
Scout Comics.
Yeah.
Let's write it down.
Lewis Southard.
Yeah, and it was just really good, and the art I thought was really fun, and they had a couple covers that were amazing. All the covers were great, but they had a couple that were just absolutely fantastic.
They had some John Gallagher covers. I love that guy.
Uncanny I got one that's a virgin variant of like her on a skeleton horse, which looks amazing.
That's John Gallagher. That's issue 1.
Is that the one?
Yeah.
It's so good. But again, there's so much good horror out there, and especially Atlantis Wasn't Built for Taurus was really good. That was another Scout Comics one, and that's of the monster hunting the monsters, which was really cool twist.
Mm-hmm.
There was a monster out there that the other monsters are afraid of, and got Hockey Wife here. Good evening. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, Sheena.
But yeah, I could talk horror and horror spec all night because there's so much that these streaming services could do with all the material that's out there right now.
Mm-hmm.
But wow,
Ron V, he does great horror. That's why anytime he puts out a book, I'm gonna pick it up.
I haven't. I have to read that last one he did. Now that I'm talking to you, I'm blanking on all the titles, right? That's how it works. I can tell you all the titles before it starts. The one with the girl.
The Layla Star?
Yes, thank you.
The Many Deaths? Yeah.
Yeah. So I got to read that. I just took that out because I have them all. Because I'm weird. The way I read my miniseries is I get them all first, and then I'll go back and I'll read it all in one arc. That way it's all
smart. Yeah.
But no, those are all great picks. Good spec. I know Nice House on the Lake is a really big story for a lot of people.
I think it's fantastic. I think there's like one more issue left.
I think it's 12 total.
Yeah, so I think there's like one more. I don't know how many are at, but I'm just like, how is he going to wrap this up? Like, I'm so curious.
Worried about it. I'm worried about it, yeah.
There's so much that we still don't know.
Well, it's tiny, and he'll probably wrap it up nicely. It's not Donny Cates right now who can't wrap up a story.
Respect to Donny Cates.
He's a great writer too.
He is. I just always think his endings always feel kind of rushed. To me, personally.
Like what?
Just yeah, the Null. I don't really like.
No, a lot of people said that about Null.
Yeah. I thought I've been reading his Thor, but I thought the first arc got wrapped up really fast. Like there wasn't enough.
It was good though.
It was good, but I was expecting, because so much grand stuff was set up, I was expecting a little bit grander of an ending for that. And I like what he's doing with Odin now, though, with Odin and the hammer. I
heard that the whole got canceled, though.
I did not hear that. I wouldn't be surprised because I haven't actually talked to anyone that it's actually liked the run so far.
Oh,
That'd be
wow.
crazy. That'd be
Well, it's
crazy if it
tough
got
because
canceled.
that was a thankless job to take after Al Ewing. Because after you have a iconic run of anything, you never want to be the next guy on it, right? You don't want to be the next writer. It doesn't matter who you are. This iconic run finishes, and then it's up to you. It's like, oh. It's like if you're an artist, you don't want to follow up Todd McFarlane.
Yeah.
You
Did,
know?
did you read the new Ant-Man?
I did not. Is it
I
good?
haven't read it yet.
I heard it wasn't. The art kind of threw me off. So I don't know. It's still there though on my to read pile.
See, I was gonna pick up Batgirl's Nat because I got excited for that book, and as soon as I opened it, I set it back down. The art just was so horrible to me. I'm like, I won't even be able to read it. I won't be able to get past this art. I had to set it back down. I'm like, you have all these iconic characters, and you're giving them like kitty art in a serious story. Did you go back and open it all?
Which one? The Batgirls?
Yeah.
I read like one or two, but I didn't add it to my list or nothing.
Yeah, no, that art threw me right off right away, and I couldn't do it, which is too bad because the story may have been good. I don't know, but I couldn't get by the art. And sometimes sometimes books do that one way or the other. I think sometimes the art can carry the story, a mediocre story through, but I think it's bad. It's harder for bad art to carry a good story through.
Which has been fantastic? World's Finest.
I've heard nothing but good stuff about it. I think I'm going to pick that up in trade.
Yeah. Dan Mora's doing the art, and wow, like he is, oh my God. I love him so much. And that book making me like just one of my favorite artists. It's so great.
You just pushed me over on that one. I've heard so many people talk about. I know Legion of Comics has been talking about.
Mark has a lot.
You want to talk about like an actual comic book, like old school superheroes? Like that's World's Finest.
Yeah, I might have to go get that one.
And
I'm going to show this page just because.
Oh, go ahead, Matt. I'm sorry.
I'm going to show this page just because it's Hal Jordan. But look at this.
Very nice. Very nice.
And your guy Hal Jordan right there. Huh?
I know. But like his lines and everything, like the art is it's fantastic. Like there's so much action. The story's pretty, it's been pretty great. But yeah. And there's
oh wow, that's a good shot.
It's Batman, Superman with the Green Lantern ring.
That's a cover too, right? That was a cover of a book.
I think it was a variant, maybe. I don't know. But it's been great. I like it. Yeah, so like if you miss like old school like superhero comics, that one's been good.
And that was one of the books when I was a young kid. I would read The World's Finest with Batman and Superman in them. They were always fun stories.
Yeah.
And The Brave and the Bold I liked a lot back then too. Now, what's your favorite era of comics to collect in, Nat?
Era?
Yeah.
Well, reading wise, I read a lot of modern just because there's so many amazing stories, and most of them are indie titles. They're not even like superheroes. But to collect, I would probably say like Silver Age, just because of that classic, just classic, like the art, and obviously it's probably the only thing I can afford to collect at this moment in time. If not, I would collect all the Golden Age, like all the pre-code horror stuff.
Oh, we got a question for you from the audience. John Platt. Hi there. It's my first time on your live stream. Just one question. What do you think of Eric July's hugely successful first release of ISOM #1, the Rippaverse, and what it means for indie comics? I have not heard of that myself.
ISOM #1. I haven't heard of that either.
Yeah, it comes out next week.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a hole for me. I haven't even heard about it.
Who's publishing it?
It's an indie book. I think it's like a political book, though. I think it's like for people who want to own the libs or something like that. I think that was the review I read.
Hmm.
I don't know anything about it though.
Nice. So, Nat, thank you so much. That was awesome books. We're going to start doing the wrap up. So, Marcus, what's coming up on your channel, sir?
Nothing, just the same old. I just dropped my weekly preview where I try to highlight the artists and the writers behind the books that I'm excited about and show you all of the covers that I have. And I recently had a CGC unboxing where I unboxed a bunch of signed slabs, including a nice house on the lake signed by James Tynan. So if you're interested in that sort of thing, check it out. That's all I got, man. Great show, great books. Those were some big dog books. I definitely don't have anything like that in my collection.
Yeah, Nat, those are legit some great books
Yes.
and a lot of new ones
Very
on the
nice.
channel, which
Very
is
nice.
always nice. I think I can speak for Marcus and I when we say part of the fun of doing this channel is actually seeing these cool books, because what's cool to everybody is so very personal to them. You always see something new, and it's always cool to see it. Coming up for me, we have Taylor Winder on the 1011 next on the 9th. On the 11th, we have Lorenzo from Alternative Comics coming up on In the Hot Seat with the Usual Suspects. And next Saturday on another special, the 1011, I don't know if it's Chai or Chi, we have Chai Chi Comic Girl on the 1011.
I think it's Chai.
Chai for
Yeah.
Chicago, yeah. So we got Chai Comic Girl coming on the 13th. And then Remy Q on the 16th. And Eddie from the Batcave on the 18th. We got a lot of greatness coming up. But first and foremost, Natalie, I want to thank you because you didn't know me from Adam. I just reached out to you from following your IG. And I'm like, well, this seems like a legit comic person. Let's get around to talk about books. So I want to thank you for being gracious enough to first accept the invite and then coming on, being super entertaining, super into the books, and just sharing with us something that's personal from your collection. We really appreciate it.
Oh, well, thank you for inviting me, honestly. It's
great show.
It's always great to be on people's channels because I'm like, oh, people want to hear me talk. Like, that's awesome. I could talk about comic books like all day.
That's what we're here for. Absolutely.
Well, you see, I always feel weird. I'm always reaching out to people, and I don't know why. Like, I'm 2 years into doing live shows, and I still expect a no from everybody. You know, I usually, in 95% of the time, I get yeses, but I still always expect a no.
That's the right attitude.
If I say no, it's because, like, sometimes I'm, like, so busy. And I think the reason I told you yes is because you told me, like, way ahead of time. So I was like, oh, yeah. But then I totally forgot until you messaged me, like, 2 days ago. And I was like, oh, my God, I totally forgot I said yes. But if it's, like, on a weekend or after 9, like, I'm good. So thank you so much for having me on here. And it was actually kind of hard to pick 10 books, even though I was missing one.
Well, maybe we can get you on the interview show one night, and we'll just talk comics and your experience growing up with them at some point. So who knows? If you're up for that, let me know. We'll schedule that up for you. And here's Joe. Gary's so nice, it's hard to say no. Oh, thanks, Joe. And yes, Silver Knight Kyle is in the hot seat on the 25th.
Sorry. Bobby De La Ghetto just got here. All right, everybody start over. Get your books back out.
Oh, man. Bobby, you missed a great show, man. You'll have to catch it on a rewind. Natalie had some great books.
Big dog books.
Yeah.
All right. And yeah, it was a treat because just listening to you could tell how much you love comics. And it's just great to see in the community someone that's just not trying to sell them, someone that legit reads them and just has a love for the material.
Real comic fan.
Yes, because to me, it's all about the stories. And I have the guests do a spec pick because it's just fun for the audience. But like you, I don't really care about spec. I just want to read something good.
Yeah.
I don't spec in my personal collecting. I just buy books I like. There's times I'll buy a whole run out of the dollar bins and sit down, I'll read it and have the best time I've ever had just reading these cheap books that no one else would even pay attention to.
Yeah.
But we had a huge turnout for tonight. We had a lot of great stuff going on in the chat. Yes, Natalie did bring some great stuff, Lady Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you, everyone who came out to see the show. Thank you for supporting us and the show. Thank you for coming out to support Natalie. Please, her Instagram link is in the description below. Please go give her a follow. Like her stuff on Instagram. Marcus's link is in the description below. Follow him on YouTube and on Instagram. You already know he's a legit dude. Check him out. And sorry, dude, you missed it, but it's great. It's worth the watch on the rewind. And
absolutely.
Yes. And until next time, guys, I just want to say, keep it casual. Thank you so much. A word from our sponsor, and then it's out. Attention all, use channel sponsor Rogue Trader at theroguetraderutah.com and my code Keep It Casual for 10% off your comic cleaning and pressing needs. Remember, when submitting your books to be graded, use a trusted professional.